Welcome to the Video CPA. Today we're going to talk about tax-related identity theft and what you do when this happens to you. And this is something that's happening more and more. As as a certified public accountant doing tax returns, we were in our practice seeing more of this every single year. And most of it was in a particular area or areas. So I'm going to talk about three different areas in this video. At the end of the video, just to give you an idea of how you handle those things. But I'm Michael Scott. I am the Video CPA. I'm a CPA, and with 45 years of experience, I've got a master's degree, and I'm also a certified management accountant. Good to be with you today. Let's go ahead and get started. So first slide is going to be our affiliate action disclaimer, our educational disclaimer, and so let's talk about how the IRS defines tax-related identity theft. Okay, so the first thing to know is there's a lot of this going on, and it's increasing every single, actually the IRS has it's gone down a little bit because they've instituted some procedures to help it go down, but in 2017, 242,000 cases of tax-related identity theft were identified, and they identify or define tax-related identity theft as a situation when somebody uses your Social Security number to file a return under your name and your Social Security number, and in doing so claiming a refund. And so that is known as tax-related identity theft, and it's been going on for quite a long time. At least the last 10 or 15 years, and it's grown quite a bit from what I've seen in my practice over the last 10 years, I guess. It was pretty slow there for a while, but it's not now. It just seems to happen quite a bit. So let's go ahead and look at some of the things that the IRS suggests that you do to prevent it. Okay, one is you should use security software with antivirus protection and firewall protection on your computers. Now, I'm talking to individuals that are preparing their own income tax returns here for the most part. If you're a business, or if you're taking your information to a tax professional, they have to abide by these requirements as well, and they also have requirements for the safeguarding of your assets. So if they're a reputable firm, they're going to be doing this type of stuff, but they'll have antivirus protection, they'll have firewalls. You have to make sure that your security software is turned on and updated. Encrypt your hard drives where you have your tax information, or if you have it in the cloud, you should use authentication, two-factor identification for it, and use strong passwords. Now, if you're doing your own tax return and you're in the cloud, you should be using the two-factor identification as well, all right, and using strong passwords and changing those passwords frequently. So the other thing they recommend is to learn to recognize phishing emails, and these are things like phone calls or emails or texts, whatever they might be. And I get these things all the time. I mean, I get calls from bill collectors that I don't answer. I just have them go to text or something, and they're always calling me saying they're trying to collect a bill or something, and I just ignore it because I know I don't have anybody out there that... but they're trying to get information from you so they can steal your assets. You have schemes from the IRS where they call up and say, hey, we're an IRS, we're trying to collect a debt, and if you don't do this, you're going to really be in big trouble. And ignore these guys, because you need to become a little bit more suspicious on these calls. If you don't know the person and you don't, as far as you're concerned, don't have any debts, just don't listen to them, hang up on them, or don't answer the phone in the first place. But make sure you recognize this kind of stuff, that you get better at it, because there's just a lot of it. And These people are crooks, and they're trying to steal your assets any way they can. I don't know why they don't go to work for a living. All right, so personal data, don't carry your Social Security card with you. I used to do that, and my wife got mad at me. Treat your information like it's cash. Don't leave it laying around, especially tax returns and something like that. Lock it up. Keep your home office, if you got a home office, keep it locked. Make sure there's a lock on the door. When not in use, consider get your file cabinets locked. Consider getting a security system if you've got information in there, or a safe. Although most of the small home safes can just be taken out and then opened at a later date, so you got to be careful of that. But be skeptical of any information you receive from people that you don't know, whether it's a phone call or it's an email or it's a text or something like that. Don't open emails, and especially attachments, if you don't know who they're from. Just do not do that. And get a shredder, shred your sensitive data when you're finished with it, and practice just good security measures, and that will help you from some of these type of things. I would say don't buy things online, but you can. I mean, I buy things online all the time, and I haven't had a problem. And knock on wood, hopefully I won't. But just make sure your data is protected. Some of the signs of identity theft. The IRS issues these, and if you get an IRS letter inquiring about a suspicious return that you filed, or maybe you haven't even filed the return, just ignore it. I mean, the IRS does send out letters. They don't do phone calls. They don't do email, unless they're familiar with you and they've been talking with you. And so if you get a call from the IRS threatening you or something like that, just ignore it. And this is the one that happens most of the time, and I've got an example of what to do in this case. This is when you try to file your tax return, and these days most tax returns are electronically filed, if you're using tax software anyway, or if you're paying a paid tax preparer to do it. And it doesn't go through because somebody has already filed a return using your Social Security number. That is the number one problem that we found. And then there's another problem very close to it that I'll get into later. But so if that happens, that's a sign that you've had identity theft on your account. You're not going to be able to file your tax return, not electronically anyway. If you get a transcript in the mail that you didn't order, that's a sign of identity theft. If somebody creates an online account for you that you didn't know about, that's a sign of identity theft. All right, so let's see. Thought I had another slide in here, but all right, let's talk about some situations here that, and I mentioned this. Let's talk about a situation. First, when somebody's filed a return for you using your Social Security number. So first of all, you need to know that you're not going to be able to file your return electronically. Okay. Unfortunately, this is not a fast fix on this type of procedure. This may take months to figure out. You're going to have to prepare what's called Form 14039, which is an identity theft affidavit, which tells the IRS what's happened. You're also going to have to file your tax return, but you're going to have to file it sending in a paper copy like we used to in the old days. So you send in the paper copy, you attach Form 14039 to it, and it'll probably take a month or two. And if you've got a refund coming, that refund is going to be slowed down, so you need to know that. They may send you an identity theft PIN to put on your tax return in the future, and so make sure you don't lose that. Make sure you use that form in the future. So. But that PIN is to help you from this happening again. All right, so that's the first one, and that's probably the most frequent one, is somebody has used your Social Security number to file a tax return. We used to see that couple of times, and then we would see it even more. It would grow, and then it would grow more the next year, so it's just gotten more frequent. And I don't have that big a firm now, so I don't see it as much. But all right, situation 2. This is a situation where you file your tax return, you claim your dependents, and somebody has already claimed one of your dependents. And this is usually a situation where it's an ex-spouse or someone else that an ex lover or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, but somebody that knew you, that knows what those Social Security numbers are for the kids. And this one's getting more frequent too. And so in this case, you can't file your tax return electronically either, unless you take that dependent off. And if you want to file without that dependent and lose that dependency exemption, well, you can do that, and you'll get your return just as fast. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to give in to this person that's taken your dependency exemption from you illegally, which may be the case, you've got to, you don't file the form 14039 in this case, but you have to file a paper return. You claim your dependent on that paper return. And you send in supporting documents with that paper return. And I have to tell you, the supporting documents are not easy to come up with. So there's quite a few supporting documents, because you have to prove then that you're actually the custodial parent, or you've provided more of the support for the year than what the person that took your exemption was. Now, it could be that the person that took your exemption is somebody that you don't even know, and they just happen to get the Social Security number. And maybe they filed a return under your kid's name and claimed a refund, which is, then identity theft, tax-related identity theft. But the trick here is, in future years, if this happens to you, you've got to file your return very quickly and claim your dependents, because unfortunately, the way this works is that the person that files first is the burden of proof falls on the person that files last, even if they're entitled to the dependency exemption, and it just slows things down. So, in the future, if this happens to you, file your return just as quickly as you possibly can, and try to beat the other person that's trying to claim this exemption. And that, that goes for people that are trying to use your Social Security number to file a return too. If you don't have an identity theft PIN, it's always best to file as quickly as you possibly can. All right, so supporting documents for dependents. This is some of the supporting documents that you have to have for your dependents, and this is pretty onerous. I mean, you got to have birth certificates and everything. So this is a copy of the form 8886-8-dependent, or DEP, and so you have to look at this form and make sure that when you send all this information in, that you've got the information that the IRS is actually requiring. All right, situation 3, and this may happen to quite a few of you. It's happened to me, but I've never seen any bad repercussions from it so far, not tax-related anyway. So this is a situation where you're working with a company of some kind. It could be an insurance company, maybe a credit company or something like that, a bank, maybe even your CPA office. And they have a data breach. Somebody comes in and hacks their systems and actually gets in. And if it's your CPA, I wouldn't think too badly of them, unless they just haven't done anything, because we're trained as CPAs to keep our offices secure, and so we try to do a good job of doing that, probably better than most organizations. And on the other hand, we are a main target for some of these criminals, because we do have so much sensitive information. But so if you're part of a data breach, you're usually notified. Keep in touch with the company that had the data breach and see what they're doing to recover your data, or what they're telling you to do. You don't have to file Form 14039 unless the IRS gets with you and tells you that you need to. Or somebody has actually filed a tax return on your behalf. And if someone has filed a tax, well, let me take that back. Someone has actually filed a tax return using your Social Security number and probably claiming a refund. But so if that happens and you become aware of that, well, then you need to file Form 14039. Okay. So these are very unfortunate things. I mean, none of them are cleared up quickly. So if this happens to you, I am sorry, but it is just not a good situation to have to deal with. And so the best thing to do is try to keep your things really secure. And sometimes you do that and it still gets out. But keep all your personal information really secure as you can. Maybe it won't happen to you. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's just an introduction to identity theft. And if you need more information about taxes in general, watch some more of the videos or go to the Video CPA's Targeted Tax Training and take a class out there. And again, I appreciate you for being a subscriber. If you haven't subscribed, hit the button. Thank you very much.